This is the 6th episode of a series documenting my attempt to do a charity ride across America, visiting different locations used in the Fallout setting. I've made it all the way from Los Angeles to the Mississippi River, and now we enter the darkest chapter of our tale, Illinois. Will I dare to enter the city of Chicago, as it was referenced in an audio log? No. America's heartland lies ahead.
Nice little trail here on the Illinois side as you're just running along the river. Police sirens, of course. It is Illinois after all. To give you an idea of why I don't like Illinois, bikers dismount and walk across the intersection. That's the type of thing I don't like about Illinois. A very rules-driven state. I split up from my group though. They're gonna check out a museum. They're kind of better tourists than I am. Me, I just want to ride. They're putting me to my paces, so they're a bit ahead in shape. They're probably about the same shape as I was when I hopped off the trail, so another symptom of my deterioration. Sadly, we can't just go straight east. I mean, well, technically we can, but in reality, if we wanted to leverage the trails that exist in this area, we got to go south and then east. Trail closure. Get fucked. But someone's like knocked it out of the way. I think it's been here a while. I mean, it looks rideable. Someone's ridden on it. Someone's driven on it. I found the part that was under construction, so luckily there was a way to get to the road without cutting across that grass. Unfortunately, this is the shit I gotta deal with now. There was no crossing infrastructure back there, so I almost got hit by a car. And the car was mad at me. That's another person that's gonna be like anti-cyclist for life. And it's like, no. The issue is that there's no way to fucking cross that road except sit there and just hope that the traffic gods line up a window. This is a small American town, but it's surrounded by like refineries, like oil refineries or coal plants, some type of like chemical engineering industry. I'm guessing that's why it seems to have hollowed out a bit, because who would want to live here? There's an interesting little tower here. It's closed for construction. Of course. I've never seen this. This route is rather unique. I'll give Illinois this. So the shoulder here is recognized as a bike route. They've got like, you're only allowed to park. You can't drive in the shoulder lane. It's bikes only. And they got crossing infrastructure for cyclists, is it specifically? Crossing the 55 right next to Southern Illinois University, by the way. I just had to climb a giant hill. Giant. In this area is like 80 feet, but still. And these temperatures felt like 400. I remember when I would divide every hill up by 652 feet, because that's how tall the hill out of Panamint Valley or into Panamint Valley was. And so it kind of just became the baseline of like what a approachable hill is. And it's funny, I'm not sure the next time I'm going to come across a 600-foot climb. I don't know if I've seen anybody on this strip pulled over. I don't remember if I did, but it doesn't take long. Every time I go to Illinois, there's always people pulled over. That's one of the reasons I just don't like Illinois. What's going on here? I have to imagine at one time this town was hopeful that this would be a pedestrian sidewalk when they built the bridge, because they got to put the sidewalk in, or they have to decide if it's going to have a sidewalk. And it's on both sides. They have to decide when they put the bridge in. And then very obviously, this is not pedestrian infrastructure. I just realized I'm back on Route 66. For context, I left Route 66 in California. It starts in Santa Monica. It's crazy that we're back here. Route 66 is a bike route that will take you a decent chunk of the way through the Fallout thing. Well, the issue is it doesn't really go to southern Nevada, so you can't do New Vegas. But if you're doing coast to coast, people do the Route 66. I don't think I can recommend that personally, based on the videos I've seen. I guess subconsciously I knew I had to cross it at some point. I didn't know I was actually, like, this is on my map. I didn't know I actually linked back up with historic Route 66. We're hitting our next trail. I don't even know what the name of it, but it's paved some of the way. Okay, this is the Nickel Plate Trail. That was the craziest road crossing I've ever seen on a trail like this. Hey, bricks. Must be a big industry here, given how many brick buildings there are. Here's how lame Illinois is. Their bike trails have speed limits, 15 miles an hour. Obviously, I think there's a safety element. If there's a bunch of like pedestrians, you don't want Lance Armstrong riding down this, but all the same. This is 15 miles per hour, by the way. Good bench. Just needs more shade. Move it over to where there's shade. This trail is crazy, namely the fact that it's so fucked. How is it so bad? I'm fine with it not being paved, but how is it this bad? It's almost like Kansas, except with corn. I found some shade, so I'm hiding here. We're about 2 miles from where I'm gonna stay. It's hard. I can't always do 50 miles because if I did 50 miles, I'd have to do like 70 miles to actually get a place to stay. It's tough out here. You gotta make this easier. Campgrounds, or at least like legal places to camp that are more known about. It's a nice day, as long as I don't move from this spot. If I move from this spot, I get cooked alive. And all my water is starting to get hot. So they shut the road down. They're making some kind of formal ditch or something. And I just walked across it, I don't care. You see I got mud on my shoes. It's like a irrigation ditch for a farm. And the construction workers are like, you ain't gonna make it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Let me look. So I go over there and look, and it's like a foot deep, 4 feet across. Like, that's easy. Like, worst thing is I gotta pick up my bike and get. So yeah, that was fun. I think they saw the license, like one of them pointed out the license plate, and I think they thought I was like some pansy liberal type. I was like, no, I ain't scared of crossing a ditch. Give me some credit. A lot of excitement all at once at the end of the day. And then the road I was riding down was covered in like boiling asphalt. And so you can see that we've got a lot of material sticking to the tire. I'm gonna have to scrape all that off. And that was pretty unfortunate. I didn't notice it was happening until it was too late. But yeah, hopefully this room cools off. They were not running the air conditioner in here before I arrived, so needless to say, it is a little toasty right now. ASMR. It seems like a bad thing. I think what it is those stains were there before. It's like built up around the tread. Be like picking rocks off this thing for hours. What to do? I need like a scraper of some kind. So last night before bed, I was going at it with the tire lever, and I scraped a bunch of the worst of it off. I figure I'll let the road do the rest. Yeah, I don't know why Big Bike didn't think of this sooner.
You can't wear out your tread if your tread is made of asphalt, right? That's just like one more protective layer. I think they should start selling this type of service in bike shops. New sticker day. I wanted a Route 66, but they didn't have any for some reason. I guess I just gotta live with the fact that every other sticker I see is gonna be AI generated from now on. I thought there was something here at this intersection because of all the buildings, but they're portable tiny homes. And I also thought that because of the water tower, but no, this is Hamel's water tower is 2 miles away from Hamel. Now I think we passed through only like 4 towns today, so that's fun. So we're back on the, I think it's the Nickel Plate Trail. It comes all the way out here to a town called Alhambra, and it actually keeps going northeast to New Douglas. The one issue with this is if it turns back to gravel, because with the asphalt on the tires still, what happens is whenever I go over gravel, it'll pick it up, but it can't hold it, so it just throws it off. And so my rear tire is just constantly flinging like pieces of gravel at the back of my legs, which is pretty annoying. And then there's the speed loss because I've got all this shit stuck to the tire. I got the worst bits off. I chiseled it off with a tire lever. I'd like to think that the rest of it will slowly kind of come off as we ride. But yeah, suboptimal. I didn't think it would be as bad as it ended up being. I was just like, oh look, this asphalt's kind of bubbling because it's been in the sun all day. Isn't that funny? And it turns out, no, it's not funny. I've ridden on roads like that before, and the reason I was so confident was that it wasn't an issue the last time I did it. I mean, who knows? Maybe it was. Maybe I didn't notice that my tires were caked in asphalt the last time it happened. Oh, see? This is already paying dividends. If the route was like full of stuff like this, like these tree tunnels, it'd be great. Unfortunately, Americans are scared of trees because it's difficult to build a modular suburb area or highway construction with trees. And oftentimes they clear cut the roads because they don't want the branches falling on the road. So you just end up with these long strips of highway where there's like 2 spots of shade. Up until now, I think there was maybe 3 places where there was shade on the road. Right, so it's not even to the peak of day yet, and I'm already boiling out there suffering. Maybe the back road will be a little better, but if you can't do this, these tree tunnels, as it were, at least put some trees on. You know, trees are nice, they're nice to look at, and they keep it cool during the summer. I don't know if the GoPro will pick it up, but I am, the back of my legs are getting destroyed by this soft gravel. It's rough, I'll tell you, it's rough. But I don't know, I guess it still beats getting close passed by ag trucks, so. That corn back there's blown over. I wonder if I'm riding amidst a crop circle. If I'd brought my drone, I'd be able to see. Crop circles are interesting because I don't know how anybody ever thought that it was anything other than the farmer, right? Like 100% the farmer did that. Well, one of 2 things. Either the farmer did it or some type of like windstorm did it. It could be both, right? Tornado blows like a kind of crescent moon shape into his field. So he's like, I can work with this. And he just fills up the rest of it. And then like gets an aerial picture taken from his crop duster. And he's like, look, aliens fucked with my crops, Mr. Insurance Adjuster. It wasn't me. That was good. It's a shame it's over for a long time. That's really it. Okay. The Katy Trail was kind of the end of it.
that there were actually trails beyond it. That really is the end of it. I don't know of anything, which is a shame. This section of the country was full of railroads. So you think that there would be more trails going east, but no. I'm just hoping they have like a town park or something. Oh, see, that's always a good sign. It's baseball field lights. They're really tall, you can see them from pretty much anywhere. I hope those picnic tables aren't it for options. I'm never comfortable being at like a school, even though it's summer. So like class isn't in session, still. Hanging out at schools just makes me uncomfortable. Okay, good. They got like a actual park. Get my haunch off the bike for a bit and then kind of see what the plan is from here on. It's cool. Every town needs a park for many reasons. This road's in some type of shape. I just hope that I'm not getting more asphalt stuck to my fucking tires. I'd rather, like, everybody's gonna pass me like, why aren't you riding on the line, loser? And it's like, well, because it's fucking, the line is wet asphalt. Or it looks like wet asphalt. I don't know what the fuck's up with this. But this is what it looked like yesterday and it fucked my tires up, so now I'm a little worried. And it's like I could ride on the gravel shoulder, but I don't want the back of my legs getting tortured again. What's bad is this road was good for a little bit. For like 2 miles, there was a nice wide shoulder, and then there was just a line and this shit started. The shoulder disappeared instantly. This is just ridiculous. I'm gonna be like swimming through asphalt by the end of this. It's fucking stupid. Thanks, Illinois. This is how you can tell I'm really rural. The post mail is being delivered by a Jeep. They don't even have a post van or a mailman to bring it out here. But what's interesting is the Jeep still had the driver on the other side. So in America, typically, the driver's on the left side, but in mail vehicles, they're on the right. That way they can pull over and they're closest to the mailbox and all that. So I'm wondering if they imported that from a left side driving country where the rules of the road are reversed, or if they bought a local Jeep and it was modified and it's just like it's allowed because they work for the postal service. I don't know, it's very interesting. I wonder about the logistics of that because I've got nothing else to wonder about because my brain is being cooked, boiled. I'm gonna have a smooth chicken breast inside there by the end of the day. It's actually not too hot. This is cool. As I get to go down this hill, I'll be looking forward to climbing the next one. The road surface has improved and we've made it to our next town, Sorrento. I love these little towns. Oh yeah, go Greyhounds. Why of all dog breeds is Greyhound so popular? School mascot. I guess it's just easy to steal. I love these little like population 600 towns though. I think at least this one has a convenience store. This town of 600's got a fucking bike shop. Well, in quotes, but I guess in theory if I broke down here, I could get repaired. That said, I'm trying to get to the next town in under an hour, which it's about less than 8 miles away as of when I left, so should be doable. This part of the world is so confusing. You're in cornfields 1 second, and then there's a giant forest and a hill, but not so drastic a hill that the Garmin wants to tell me about it. Just a gradual forever hill. Panama looks a little different than I expected. Been a while since we had one of these. Camera doesn't do it justice, you need binocular vision. This boy is not a 5% grade. This is a wall. Well, the nice thing is that this road that nobody uses is paved. When I crest a hill, this is what I want to see. I want to see open terrain. I hate the endless hills. They're crushing the soul out of me. Wait, no. Where are we going? Yeah, we don't have to do that hill. Thankfully. I am tired though. I need to find a place to rest. What I like about the countryside is that there's just funky ass like structures and no clue why they exist. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe there's some clue when I get closer. Hopefully it says on the side of the building. Oftentimes life is so disappointing because there'll be some weird thing and no sign explaining what the fuck it is. Well, I'm no closer to being able to tell. They got a big private property sign, of course. What place out here doesn't? I look forward to being told 5,000 times in the comments, because nobody in the comments is going to check if anybody else has answered the question. Everybody wants to be the guy that answers the question, so there'll be 50,000 comments saying, "You idiot, that's obviously a fucking," even though I have never in my life seen anything that looked like that. So we got off of the gravel back on the pavement, which is nice. I have to imagine that the taxes are pretty high if all of these roads are paved. I'm sure these people will bitch a lot about the taxes being high and not even think twice about the fact that, well, you could drive home on a gravel road. I mean, I struggle to buy that, like, there's just this many miles of paved gravel roads being maintained. I passed a truck being operated by two guys, an asphalt truck. They just pour a little bit of asphalt on the road, guy with a shovel goes out, pats it down, patches up potholes. Unless you're telling me that there's some type of civic miracle going on here of people paying and volunteering their time. I mean, even then, if you're paying for your own roads, at what point do you just say, yeah, TVH, let's just pay taxes? I turned down going to a Taco Bell in Alton because I was riding with those two people, and I've regretted it ever since. I live for the Baja Blast now. That's the thing that really keeps me going. I love refilling the cup like 4 or 5 times because they fucking price it like $3 for one of those cups. It's ridiculous. I just got confirmation that thing I passed is a cell tower. I had no faith it was a cell tower, but apparently it is. I guess that explains why, oh hey, oil pump. I guess that explains why I have full 5G out in the middle of nowhere. I didn't really like think to check my signal. So we're 12 miles from where we're stopping. It's gonna be the hardest 12 miles of the trip. I don't know, it's not hot. I just don't feel I have the energy. Maybe I'm bonking out. Like I haven't been snacking as much. I snacked at, I wanna say, I don't know, mile 18, 19, 20. I don't know what kind of road surface this is, but it ain't it. Son, let me impart a lesson on you right now. All curves are dangerous. I'm having a very hard time with these last 4 miles. But I can hear cars off in the distance to the south. So I just keep moving forward. But we are heading into a storm area. I don't think it's dehydration. I think I'm just like legit tired. My bad time is 100% that I was starving. And well, in this heat, these Reese's Pieces get a little rough. This is why you, god damn it, that was predictable. This is why you always buy the cups though. You don't want the Reese's melting outside of the cup, or that bag is just gonna turn into like chocolate pudding. And while that sounds good, trust me, you don't want it. I don't know what road this is. All I know is Johnny Law is sitting on it. The town's right there. We've almost made it. Weirdly accurate dragon to the legend of St. George. This is a town that does not have its priorities in order. Right, so far, today's plan is highway miles. Now, the reason I'm doing this is that this highway, I think it's either US 40 or Illinois 40, runs parallel with Interstate 70. I'd like to think there won't be a ton of traffic on it because like big traffic will for the interstate over this rinky-dink highway. But I'm getting some red flags, like the fact that it's paved and in really good condition, which tells me that this might be one of the more popular routes. I don't know. I've got no idea how far I'm gonna go today. I think at our current pace, we've got about 3 more days of Illinois, which is a little distressing. And if you're curious about the scenery, it's interesting, but it'll get old. Wow, already in another town. Don't let it deceive you. This is like right next to the other one. This is an industrial greenhouse for plants that are sold at like hardware stores. Just crazy. The perversion of nature, man. The perversion. All right, so for right now, things are getting a little better. I have an actual paved shoulder. There are rumble strips, but they're not installed by somebody who's drunk, so they don't weave all over the place. This is a good arrangement. I think we've got 100 more miles of Illinois to go. I could have had soft serve if I had known about it, but instead I sat in a city park. That's okay. Maybe there'll be soft serve in the next town. This is like a wildlife observation area. I don't know if there's gonna be any wildlife to observe, but I'm gonna check it out anyways. Just do a little bit of tourism, you know? But I think the only wildlife I'm gonna see is that fish or whatever that's in that murky lake, murky little Stillwater Creek mosquito breeding pen. Why you gotta do this to me, man? Railroad on the left, I-70 on the right, State Highway in the middle. Excuse me? I'm not living in a town called Funkhauser and not doing drugs. Illinois has surprised me with a new classic. You can't see it here, but you can see it on any hill. Gutter riding. Yeah, the shoulder of the road in some places is the gutter. Now, why is that significant? Well, gutters are, of course, curved, which means that anything less than an absolute straight line, you're just going to start bouncing around all over the place. So not a lot of room to ride in, and it's like I'm riding on a fucking tightrope. Another town that doesn't want drugs. Another town with a funny name. Anyways, I'm looking for the public library. So something crazy about this state I've noticed is that every intersection seems to have left turn yield on green. And I just think, like, it's gotta be so dangerous, doesn't it? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There's no way it's letting me across. Not if it's gonna let them go left first, right? Because I can only cross if that is straight through. But if they're letting people through left turn on green, how does a pedestrian get across that? I think the answer is they don't. There's a light there, so I assume it's not like ornamental. Can I turn down? No? Well, make it if I turn anyways. Every sign has a story. Wrong way cyclists, because they're riding on the left-hand side of the road. I've never heard of cyclists doing that. I've heard of pedestrians doing that. I've never heard of a cyclist riding against the grain of traffic. It's our old friend. Man riding a bicycle painted on the road. I gotta get that down. It's a mouthful. This town's actually got quite a few bike lanes. A town with a community water park. I guess this little area's got to be doing pretty well for itself then. I mean, if it's charged to get in, I didn't see where people were paying. Yeah, bike lanes, water parks, more parks. I just keep passing parks. This area is kind of nice. Holy fuck. I think this place gives Breezewood a run for its money. I'm pulling out the camera and taking a picture. This is the I-70, so that's why it is the way it is, but holy shit. You didn't have to make it this bad. I don't know, Holmes. I don't think this is where it's at. So apparently we're 70 miles from the border to Indianapolis. Not Indianapolis, to Indiana. So, breakfast and move. They have not made Illinois 40 the easiest thing to get to. The pedestrian crossing just stops existing, and so we have to like improvise a way to get there. I sure hope nothing weird happens today. This part of the town is kind of a mess. I've generally liked Effingham. I think it's kind of underrated, but yeah, it does suck getting to back to the highway so I can crush those miles. I never really felt like we left Effingham, but I guess we're in a new town. We've had good shoulders so far, which I'd like to think is because these two towns are so close to each other that they'd be okay with people riding bikes between the two, but you never know. I don't remember crossing any kind of county line, but this town doesn't have a disclaimer saying that it says no to drugs. So that makes me think that they must be cool with it. This is apparently a historic road that merited a sign. The sign did not say what historic road it is. It's got the name Cumberland Road, so I assume it's just like some important road for the colonization of the West. Another stretch of this historic road. This part's out of maintenance, obviously. I'm curious how long. I'm always curious because I'm like, could this road last like 100 years, 200 years? Well, there's a train passing by, which is going to ruin my take, but I'm not going to wait for it. There's a bridge. Apparently it's a historic bridge. A historic covered bridge. Careful, going too fast. It says 15 miles per hour through the bridge. It's like a whole area. I just missed the train. It was crossing that bar bridge. This is cool. We're cool enough. Okay, this is a pretty cool construction. Oh, man, there's a fucking security camera. There's cameras in here? Must be getting close to the East Coast. Well, we've got a shoulder for now. If we can go 45 more miles, we can be in Indiana, which is in the Eastern time zone. There's some type of trail running parallel with this road, and I don't know what it's for. Some places just randomly have stuff like that, and by the time you notice, it's already too late. I knew it. I knew it would end randomly in the middle of a field. That's what happens every time. Every time there's a parallel path, it just ends randomly, has no reason for existing. Taking a risk here. There's an abandoned brick road next to the highway. I could be climbing up 4 inches of asphalt or the gravel pit, or have this luxurious brick road to myself, and it's flanked by concrete. The big risk is it might end up being a bust. The maps seem to indicate that it's not, but we'll see. We're rolling into a town, Marshall. About 50 miles for the day. tough to think. I got like 20 more to get to Indiana, but you know, seems like some of the bricks just straight up disintegrated. But yeah. Now this road, I think, also goes into the town, but obviously it's a lot less noteworthy. This might be the cheapest Catholic church I've ever seen. And I don't mean cheap as an insult, because whatever, but it's just interesting. I thought this was a shit post, but then I saw somebody doing it. Golf cart community. Those people have banded together and determined that some other mode of transportation other than automobiles is necessary. And of course proceeded to decide that golf carts was the thing to do. I mean, it's a step in the right direction. They're less dangerous. It's like less car-centric, but it's still car-centric. Just funny. I had to walk up this hill because, you know, you see how little shoulder I have? And for some reason, everybody's out using this road right now. Even though, again, this highway runs parallel with I-70. So, I-70 is right over there. And believe it or not, I think at this very moment, it would be safer to ride down I-70 than this road, US 40. Because I-70, yeah, if something happens, you will die. That's why cyclists aren't allowed to use it. But the odds of something happening are pretty slim. Whereas here, you know, the traffic's slower, but that doesn't mean it's safer, because there is so much more that can happen. So I just had a thing where, as I'm riding on this tightrope, my rear tire kind of goes off, and I almost fucking fishtailed out and got hit by a car that was like riding parallel with me, because I almost lost control of the bike. Like, this is just ridiculous. Why the fuck is there so much traffic on this road right now? I say right now, of course, as nobody's out here, but, and it's like, well, why don't you ride in this gravel pit here? It's because people are pulling on, people are pulling off, and water, all this shit's washed out. So like, if I'm not swimming through it, I'm fishtailing through this. Like, you see that convoy? That was like seven vehicles in a row. And if they hit it at the wrong time, where there's oncoming traffic, then they can't actually go around me. Or they can't go around me with a safe amount of clearance. So, this is hard. But the worst part is there's no like parallel farm roads. And a lot of Illinois, if I was having this issue in like Western Illinois or in like Kansas, I would literally just pull off the next road, and there would be like a farm road that's parallel with it. And it's like, yeah, it'll be slower, but it'll be safer. For whatever reason, there's no farm road right here. So I'm just like having to try to soldier through it. Anytime there's billboards for injury lawyers, that means that the injury lawyers have managed to identify the more dangerous place than like the State Department of Transportation. They could make that way safer. But lucky me, there's an old road here, or a stretch of this old road. And given the current situation, I'll just take the risk that it might end in the middle of a field, because if I get even half a mile out of this, that's half a mile that I wasn't taking a risk by being on that fucking road. You know what's sad? If they had preserved more of this, this is kind of the the opposite of the Katy Trail. If they had preserved more of this little like cool brick road, this would actually make a pretty cool like bike trail. But unfortunately, I don't think the local people wanted to have it, so it's gonna fall out of disrepair, and now there's sections missing, so it's too late. But like, it's got the makings. I have to go like block by block and determine if the next, like, if it even exists for the next stretch. But yeah, this stretch is rough, and I knew it would be rough. I didn't think that this part of the world would actually be more difficult than like Kansas. I actually thought the Great Plains was going to be like the most dangerous part, just because it's such a rural, like anti-cyclist kind of place. I would never have thought that it was like the heartland that would actually be so dangerous. This can't be right, and it doesn't look right from the map. East 40 combines with I-70. I mean, that sign right there just says like, yeah, don't come on here. But now that I've ridden the road, I can say thoroughly, I do not understand where the fuck all that car traffic was going. Well, there wasn't much ceremony with the state line. Now I'm in a very different place here in Indiana. There's like multiple routes to get into this town. So this is the old US 40, right? And it just seems to be like a residential neighborhood type area now. To the left is National Avenue, which is a 2-lane bisected highway. And to the right is I-70, which I think is a 3-lane bisected interstate. Hopefully the existence of multiple massive thoroughfares means that there won't be a ton of traffic on this road. But you never know. You never seem to know. So we have come upon what I believe is a bike trail that will take us to town. Jesus. What a day. It's not over, but what a day. And it's next to this nice little like wetland area. We got like cranes out there living their best lives. This is a generational all-timer sign, turtle crossing. Holy fuck. Now that we're closer, I figured out that we are not going to Indianapolis. I mean, we can if we want to, but... No, I was mistaken. We gotta get to Cincinnati. So we're still a few days off from the next big trail system. Which really sucks, but... it's not surprising at this point. But that's one less major American metropolitan area I've got to go through, so... Well, at least this trail is kind of nice. Road closure would be cool, but it's an Air National Guard base, and they've got it fenced off, so I don't think it's happening. I hope that this shoulder actually goes somewhere. Don't let the overcast or the sounds of the the freeway, fool you. We have a lot to look forward to. Today's a roller coaster day, which is really nice because since there's no shoulder, that means it's also blind fucking corner day. Oh boy, I can't wait. I have to sit at the top of the hill, make sure that like nobody's gonna like sneak up behind me and clip me. And I got to do that for every single hill.
I was hoping this wouldn't happen on account of this being a numbered highway and all. Or I could be on the interstate if it wasn't illegal. It's flat. This hill had a shoulder I could climb up, which was cool. But it's on both sides, so it's not for that reason. It's probably because there's a gas pipeline here. So, you know, my safety, meh. Gas companies, for whatever reason, yeah, we got to get them the shoulder. And what's bad is I don't think there's a good way to get across this part of America. It's just like this stretch of like 400 miles, it just blows. It's like everything between the Katy Trail and like Cincinnati just fucking sucks. In terms, like, not even in terms of the place, because this isn't radically different from what I've seen before. It just sucks because, like, it's like this. Please, we got to get these people grants or something to like build more shoulders on their highways. So after having some food, I am taking Indiana 59 south to get to Indiana 46, which will take us more the direction we want to go. 42 was going to keep going east to Indianapolis. So at some point we got to make a little bit of southern progress, not a ton, because we're going to have to go north again. But so far I'm happy with the decision because this is much better. The hills and humidity are beating me today. Hills, heat, and humidity. I've also noticed this is not the first mailbox to be knocked down, so I suspect someone must have been knocking down mailboxes lately. There's something inside you. Well, we're certainly adding to the situation. This rain's a hell of a lot colder than it was. But main thing I'm worried about is drivers. Well, that was the first big rush of it. I was gonna say, it was alright. Kind of a just side grade for my day. Instead of being blisteringly hot, now I'm kind of cold. I didn't think to pull out the rain jacket until it was too late. And yeah. Oh well. And there's a lot of that going on. This is Spencer, Indiana, which is where I'm hoping to stay tonight. At some point along the way, we climbed up to 1,100 feet. Last I saw, we were at 700. And we're in a valley. So the terrain seems to be getting a little more mountainous again. 46 miles today on account of the fact that I got soaking wet. I'm gonna dry off for a bit, go get some food. This town's got all kinds of stuff, so I just have to go out when it's not raining, or go out now while I'm still wet, then I don't get double rained on. Good morning. I'm not feeling it, to be honest. A little miserable. Everything's wet. Everything smells. I'll keep on keeping on. Alright, enough state highway nonsense. It was good for a little bit. There was 3 lanes, 2 for the cars that were climbing, and the shoulder was kind of generous, so that was nice. But I'm feeling kind of backcountry farm roads today, especially since it is an option for once. I think Ohio has to be better. Cincinnati's at the border of Ohio, so I think in theory, if we can do most of Ohio on trails, that should be a nice exemption. Some guy did give me $10 as a donation for the charity, so that was cool. But the only people out here who care are those who care to ask, and that's a small minority of the people. The people out here, they're not as friendly as they think they are. Oh. Spencer Owen Construction Seek Alternate Routes. What's going on here? Okay, it's graded. I was like, this looks like the perfect thing to get my bike tires stuck in. No through traffic on the bridge, no exceptions. See, I don't understand. I don't understand. Who knows? This part of the world loves putting up signs. They don't seem to like taking them down so much. Look who decided to stop paving their roads as soon as there were hills. Fuck. Backcountry riding is always a gamble. The Golden Zone is like paved backcountry roads. That's the real, like, nice place to be. We have reached the junction. Because this is spur of the moment, I don't know the exact route I want to take. I'm worried that if I go too far south, I may end up on a busier kind of halfway county road. But that's paved. That's a point in its favor. I'm thinking, let me crest this little hill here. Oh, this looks all right. I think there's a tree down. Guess I gotta be careful. Fuck. Fuck. I'm so careful I fall in the ditch though. Okay. Looks like it was a telephone pole. What's weird is, like, it seems like they've replaced the telephone pole, but they haven't finished the job. I'd like to think that none of it is electrified, to be honest, given that it's laying down here on the ground. People on Twitter would be screaming, "It's an ambush, it's an ambush." Just well, I didn't die. And upside, decreased likelihood of anybody driving down this road, at least from behind. That's a positive. She's running out because there's been, I'm guessing the utility company was down here. Trucks rutted out the road pretty badly. Ooh, that wasn't fun. This is the use case for full suspension, not full suspension. Nobody has fucking full suspension gravel bike, but those gravel bikes with front suspension, this is the use case. Alright, now that we're past the obstacle, this is more fun. You know, it's kind of funny. The gravel riders I know love to complain about shit like this, but to me, this is the fun type of gravel riding. The big open fields, the long distances you can do, the isolation. You know, they like to ride through. I mean, fire roads are fun too, but that's because fire roads are decently maintained. It's that gravel roads that services like 20 houses in the middle of nowhere. That shit gets rough. I don't like rough gravel. I don't like fish tailing. I don't like swimming in gravel. And those problems never seem to be a thing on these types of roads. Okay. Paved left, paved across, gravel right. Whew. Look at this. I was worried this road would be bad. I gotta alternate days like these. If that was the case, like, it would be perfect, right? Like, oh, it's a 50-mile white knuckle day on a state highway. Yeah, it sucks, but we make big progress. And then, you know, The next day is like a slow kind of farm road day. That's the kind of pace I'd like. But we're not gonna always have the freedom to do that as we go east. And I mean, obviously, if there was a nice trail alternative to this, I would pick neither the farm road day nor the highway mile day, because the trail is the king. Unexpected greenway here, so this will get us through this town, which is nice. It's like a weird little old western town that's just sequestered away in the middle of this area. Interstate 69. Well, unironically, it's Interstate 69. This town, Bloomington, also has a lot more bike infrastructure than the map indicates. So, I'm having a good time. Each of these roads is a signposted bike route, and I don't know how. It's almost like they just said it so that they can brag they've got X miles of bike routes in the city, but yeah. It took forever to get through Bloomington, but we're on the move. Glad it's on camera. Oh man, I'm always too late. I should have read his license plate. That started happening again here in Indiana. People like screaming and honking. So that's why I try to avoid the bigger, like, urban areas. I do not want to go up that hill. Just way too dangerous. Because people are, like, whipping around those corners. Let's see these Walmart trucks just driving down these fucking country roads. It's absurd. Seems to be some manner of event. However, I'm going to wager that it's just church. I don't know, it's kind of a tourist town too. Tough day. The elevation's starting to pick up. Including one hill that was like 300 feet continuous. And I'm in a town that sucks so much I'm not even going to say the name of it because I don't want anybody to ever visit it. It's just one of those typical, like, tourist trap towns where it's got like a billion, you know, bougie shops and restaurants that you can go to. It's just not a real place, you know. I'll never give up. You know why? Heaton. It's a bit of a gloomy, overcast day. I just gotta make it down the mountain. So far, so good. So this is one of many examples I'm talking about. I don't see any like tent sites, but it calls itself a campground. Is it a campground? No, it's actually just an RV parking lot, but it calls itself a campground. So on the map, it's considered a campground, but it's not like a place for me. It's a place for RV campers. And that's all over the place out here. It's impossible to tell whether a campground is actually a place for me or not. There we go. I'm surprised it took this long to find one. Not surprising, of course, we didn't really go through the south. So this one actually markets itself as an RV campground, so good on them. Take notes, Indiana, this is what an actual road looks like. Nice wide shoulders, baby. Going through the hills. Had a hard uphill, but you know what? I climbed up it because I had a nice shoulder that I could struggle pedal up. So this is marked on the map as bike infrastructure. I don't know if I'd even want to walk down it, because like half of these trees are really low-hanging branches. Oh yeah, today we're crossing
I-65. Okay, the infrastructure's a little better than I gave them credit for. This park has an observation deck, and it had an elevator at one time, but it's clearly not been in operation for a while. Another park with another covered bridge. Nice trail. Nice cornfield. They're really tall. So this isn't on the map, so I have no clue where either of these directions go. I believe that way is east. I mean, it doesn't matter, it's all like open farm roads. So, I mean, Cincinnati's straight east of us, so like if you wanted to get there, that's the way you'd go. I think we're trying to get to a town called Greensburg. So, east it is, even though north has shade. All right, so we're hopping on a farm road. I hope it's paved the entire way. Everybody on this road is super spread out, so there's no gaps to cross. So this is pretty cool. Bro, look at him go. Holy shit. What's he running from? What's he running from? Look at him go. I think it's a girl. The boys have their antlers by now. Where's she going? You see, sometimes I think about humans being persistence hunters, and I'm like, how do you keep up with that? I get that deer is like exhausted now, but like, it'd be so hard to track it. Like, yeah, I can keep up with it endurance wise, but it's so fast. Now that they get closer, I see that, like, yeah, they do have legs. It's interesting that the bottom part isn't like connected to each other. I was gonna say it's like a bodybuilder who skipped leg day because he's got thin legs and like broad shoulders, but now it kind of looks like a ballerina that's standing on the tips of her toes. It's kind of funny, occasionally I'll see like political signs that are anti-solar. It's like they're against industrial solar farms being built here, and I'm just thinking, like, you know, that kind of made sense in Nevada and Utah, you know, places with natural beauty where I was getting tarnished by these ugly solar farms. Yeah, here's these signs. Protect farmland. No industrial solar. I see signs like this and it just makes me think of like Spider-Man pointing at another Spider-Man. You already ruined the local ecology to build the farms, right? Like, this is not what this area was like naturally. So I don't really see how it being like the field being covered in solar panels is any different than the field being covered in like corn. I don't know if you can see it. There's a guy on a dirt bike blinking his hazards, and then a truck following him at like 15 miles per hour, refusing to pass him. Good to see it even happens to the motorized cyclists out here. Well, motorcyclists, but still all the same. I don't get it. Just pass them. I have to assume they got to be together, right? Okay, no, the truck did finally pass him. So he just decided to follow him for a long ways for some reason. And another person who seems to be broken down on the side of the road. There were a couple cars back there in the same predicament. The thought just occurred to me. Well, I mean, okay. The past few days I've been joking with somebody because we're like, I don't know, 60, 70 miles from Louisville, Kentucky. So I've been making zomboid jokes because that's what this part of the world is like. But the thought occurred to me that it's weird how in zomboid they don't have, like, this is a few days after the start of the crisis, and this is how like tall the cornfields are, right? I feel like there shouldn't be any food scarcity issues in zomboid if this is how far along like the cornfields would be. Each of these towns gets like harder to navigate than the last.
One more day of this Indiana business. Unleashed dog. Maybe he's got a shock collar. There's been a few dogs that have been unleashed out here who bark, but they don't chase. The main strip was just a nightmare. There was so much traffic, right? It's practically impossible to get anywhere around the town without a car. Because with a car, you can kind of like brute force your way through an intersection. But on a bike, you're kind of just waiting for somebody to give you a chance. And out here, nobody's gonna give up the opportunity to get through an intersection on your behalf as a cyclist. Oh? But I see a bike path. Oh man, this is a classic staple. The bike path at the edge of the industrial park. I mean, in fairness, this isn't a terrible way to do it because it's like, in theory, this could be one day connected to the broader town and then used as like a commute route to get people from their residential area to the places that employ people. But to me, it's always transparent that it's just as simple as the land's cheaper out here. So that's why this stuff gets built. This is the craziest start of a county road I've ever seen. Bro, they've got a personalized tunnel. This would be so cool as a kid. If this is your like your bus route home down this road. Very cool. I actually haven't checked the map yet to see if this road actually goes anywhere useful though. I guess like Illinois, Indiana doesn't want to go without a fight. No, that's a misnomer. This is one of the best roads I've been on. It's smooth, it's asphalt. It's actually kind of flat. They might have graded it. The hills are manageable. Now this is way better than a mid road. 15 miles, quarter of the way done. I am worried that we're like adding miles to the trip by taking these country roads because it's less direct route. Sometimes we got to go like north and south to connect to different roads. There's no straight shot backcountry road that goes to Cincinnati. I think the straight shot 60 miles is the state highway. So our day might be slightly longer as a consequence of taking these roads, but that's a price I'm willing to pay. I mean, I literally do have to pay that price. It might be like $5 extra donated, but that price I will pay to not have to put up with being passed by cars constantly. It's a neat little downtown area. The church bell was ringing. I just think it just turned noon. I've seen some of those, not the owls. Just passed a kid who's riding around. He's wearing about 10, 11 years old with a backpack and a fishing pole, riding his bike. That's badass. Dangerous, but pretty cool. I want to live in a society where I can trust that my child can go safely fishing whenever he wants to on a bicycle without fear that something bad will happen to him or that he'll get hit by a car, which is, you know, I gotta specify it's two different things. I don't want my child to be assaulted, and I don't want my child to be killed in a traffic accident or a traffic intentional. We don't have money for asphalt bikeways, but we do have money to build tunnels along country roads to access to get under the railroad. Like, what
There are so many of these. I don't even film all of them. That's how many there are. So it's just weird to me that, like, Indiana clearly has money. So that road down there where that truck's pulling out, it's got a road closure. It says it's 3.5 miles down it. Now, I'm guessing they're probably working on some type of bridge. So as always, I'm wondering about the typical proverb I figured out, which is to ignore road closure signs. So we can preemptively take the detour, which will add miles to it guaranteed, or we take the risk that it's actually a fake road closure and save some distance. It's got to be that there's a bridge being worked on somewhere on it, right? If there's I want to say 4 creeks on that road. If one of those bridges is out, we're fucked. But if it's just like there's a bit of road work on it, then that's whatever. I-74. Not our first crossing. We went under it earlier, about 10 miles back. As always, I'm not allowed to go on it, even though it would be the simplest route. Yeah, look at this shit. So there were detour signs saying, oh yeah, just detour this way. Motherfucker, how? I can't go on the interstate. What do you mean detour on the interstate? Are you fucking crazy? Notice the truckers do not use SR1 to I-275. Sharp curves, steep hills, winding road, and school buses. Well, not to worry. This is Indiana 1, the road that they are warning people of. But we're actually just taking like backcountry roads that are on this side of the interstate. I think it's going to add like maybe 5 miles to the day, which is not insignificant. Okay, to be clear. If that road closure sign indicated what the risk I'd be taking in like choosing to go down that road that was closed, it was like, if it just said a bridge is closed, then I'd know. We're so close to Ohio, I don't want to take the risk. Because every state seems to want to end with some kind of tomfuckery. That's something I've definitely noticed. Now that I think about it, yeah. I think I have literally been fucked over at the end of every state except maybe Utah. Yeah, so California, that ended with the climb out of Death Valley and that like non-town and the wind advisory, of course. Massive headwinds. I had to get a ride to be bailed out of that because of how bad the end of California was. The end of Nevada was when we encountered Utah Hill, which was pretty tough. And we had to ride on the I-15 to get out of it. Like, to get to the end of Utah, or the end of Nevada, we had to ride on the I-15. Utah, I mean, I think Utah fucked me so thoroughly at the start that it felt bad for me and didn't want to fuck me later on. Arizona's, maybe Arizona was like the one good state, which is ironic because the roads in Arizona suck. Although the end of Arizona was the Navajo Nation, which was a very unpleasant experience in terms of like having to ride 100 miles just to be able to stop somewhere. So I don't know. I think Arizona screwed me over. I mean, Utah was Mexican hat. I mean, there was some heavy winds that day, but it wasn't too bad. Colorado was eastern Colorado. I mean, that was tough. I got sick multiple times trying to get out of Colorado. I mean, we were still in the mountains with the food poisoning, but the second time I got sick, that was in eastern Colorado. Kansas was nice until we got to the last part where, like, getting from the Flint Hills Trail to Missouri was a nightmare. Missouri sucked. The Katy Trail just, like, ends without ceremony. And like, so I was like suddenly thrust into road writing to like get across the Mississippi River, even though the Katy Trail takes you right to it. All right, this is our turn. And then Illinois, the roadway got so rough in terms of lack of shoulder in Illinois that it was just straight up dangerous getting out of that state. Yeah, I think I've legitimately been fucked over in pretty much every state. Right at the end, right at the finish line. So you can imagine my apprehension, because I don't want to give Indiana the chance to fuck me over, because I consider every moment that I've been in Indiana pretty much to be me having already been getting fucked over. So I don't know, maybe it'll end well. Maybe it'll be a Utah situation where, because I got fucked over in the state proper, it'll let me go without too much trouble. Of course, you're not supposed to think about the negatives, you're supposed to be positive. I don't know. I'm already feeling a little negative. This doesn't seem like a backcountry road. This seems like just a state highway. I will say these backcountry roads are great just for the visual aesthetics of all this greenery and then the infusion of man-made structures into it. The telephone lines, the fences, the houses, the road signs, the road itself. I don't know. There's just something fascinating about greenery contrasted with man-made structures. Even if it's artificial, like these farms, I don't know, we're still surrounded by forests and mountains. Not mountains per se, but it is starting to become pretty damn mountainous out here. The hills are becoming more frequent. I mean, like, there's vistas and stuff that you can see off to the side. Yesterday, I think we spent the entire second half of the day on a very, very gradual, unnoticeable climb. I hadn't noticed it until I got the after action report. And I was like, oh, we actually climbed a ton. Not just in the hilly areas around Nashville, but even in the farmland. We were just like gradually climbing all day. Which I guess is how it would be going if you went west through Kansas instead of east. You'd gradually be climbing all day. I mean, just like, I don't know, it's starting to get really nice. I think I legit just dropped like 400 feet. I didn't know it was going to be a huge decline. I guess I should have thought of that because I knew that the river's right there. Also, by the way, this is the construction. So it looks like the detour was probably a waste of time on my part. God damn it, another road closure? Please don't tell me this bridge is closed. I literally don't have another option. This must be the real prize, because this is an old like truss bridge. This is problematic. I have to go 4 miles north, 6 miles south. If we try to find the silver lining of our situation, it's got to be, this is a pretty cool river crossing. 4 miles out of my way just to come see this crappy bridge in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of a cool view. This would be a cool hangout spot. I won't lie. This would. But it's still kind of absurd how I got here. Well, those colors are the last thing I want to see out in the middle of nowhere. At least this river, the Whitewater, there's canoe rentals down there. But this was a fun trip. Canoe rental sounds awesome. But not for me. And this is the other last thing I want to see. What now? What other fucking detour could this area have? I'm officially around this stupid fucking detour. I had to ride down a state highway. I've had 3 different people scream out their window at me in the last hour. Bear in mind, that happened less than once in most other states. Indiana, you got some fucking problems. That stand back there, I don't know if it's in frame. It's all $50 off retail power tools. It's a fucking pop-up stand where shoplifters are selling stolen shit from Home Depot. I'm literally looking for any sign that I made it out of Indiana and into Ohio, because I'm the only person who's ever been excited to go to Ohio. No Ohio sign. Just a sign for Harrison, Ohio. Fucking Indiana has fought me every step of the way. It's like fucking, it's like I'm experiencing the wonder of you. It is here in Harrison that one can observe white-tailed deer in their native habitat, which of course is the backyard of the Confederate flag. "56 miles, and I still feel like I didn't go far enough, if only because I thought I would get farther in 60 miles, but we had like 15 miles of detour. I don't know how else to record this. The hotel shower, it doesn't do cold water. I can't even take a cold shower after a ride. The hotel shower, and this is not a problem I ever thought I'd have, the hotel shower doesn't do cold water. It only does hot water. It's either on and hot or off. I feel like I'm being spiritually tested. Here's a question. Am I going to survive the exurbs of Cincinnati? New bridge. Well, actually, which bridge is newer? But old bridge. Old railroad bridge. So after crossing that bridge, this 2-lane bi-directional highway. Wait, bi-directional? No. Divided highway. This 2-lane divided highway suddenly gained a bike lane. Although there's no van painted on the bicycle, it's just a painting of a bicycle. So maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's just for the bike. If I'm supposed to let the bike go up on its own. Pat, you'll complain about anything. Now it has been a while since I have seen you. Green paint, my beloved. They only did it for a little bit for that intersection, but man, I have not seen green paint bike lanes in a long time. Bike lane stops, bike lane starts. I bet it's a liability thing. I bet they're getting out of the liability of cyclists being hit at this intersection by removing the bike lane. But also, you may notice Metro stop benches. Bruh. Seriously? This is what passes for infrastructure here? I gotta assume this is like a defunct line. Tell me that there's nobody who's taking the bus that is sitting out on these benches on this road, out in the elements, to like go to work. Well, practically no ceremony to arriving in Cincinnati this way. I'm currently going through a bamboo forest. So this road is marked on the map as kind of a bikeway. I don't think there's any reason for that except it's a bit of a lower traffic road thanks to the byway that's 30 feet to the right. So I'm guessing this is probably the old state highway that ran through this area, and then they built the byway next to it. It's a lot smoother. It's got 4 lanes and a lot easier to navigate. And this was left as kind of a nature corridor. You know we're getting close to the city because I can hear planes landing. I'm kind of just powering through it. I think I've been disassociating for the last 3 days. Nice. It's crazy how run down this place is. I mean, there's just so much crazy stuff. I can't pull up the camera for all of it. There's like, okay, so imagine this road, but there's no sidewalk on the right side, and yet there are bus stops, not only for like the local metro line, but like school bus stops. So people apparently let their kid cross this highway to go wait for the bus outside. At least we're finally seeing, that's Cincinnati, that's downtown Cincinnati. The sidewalk rocks. I've only seen 2 rat spots. Remembering how he navigated this shit. Jesus Christ. Okay, this is somewhat non-negotiable. Sidewalk in name only. The bikeway on the map just ends here, so I assume it's got to be. Well, no, actually. Wait. That's what I'm telling you about these civic engineers. It's like, okay, the heroine's going off, let's design an actual trail. Now I can relax. Just for a little bit. I'll probably have like a homeless man jump out of the bench at me at this rate. What? It just ends? And bear in mind, it started over there. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just a U. All that did was help me get across the road. Well, I guess that's why it's not marked on the map. Don't want people fucking seeking out a bike route that doesn't go anywhere. Alright. So down this road to West 8th Street. Seems to be roundabouts the trail. I don't know where exactly it starts precisely, but I'm just gonna walk for a bit because I'm kind of realizing I was disassociated getting here. God, it was a nightmare. Cincinnati fucking sucks. But I mean, like, it's been a nightmare since I left, like, Edwardsville, Illinois. So the road surface for that bridge is kind of like grate. They're driving over grates, and so it doesn't matter how far away you get from it, you can hear the cars driving over that bridge constantly. It's just like a constant howling noise. Alright, we just passed a sign that indicated this is mile marker 470 of the Ohio River Way. Now, we're way out here, but that sounds to me like there's 470 miles of trail. Like in a row? Not like, you know, crisscrossing to pad the stat out. 470 miles. Tell me it's true. Am I intended to ride in the middle? Okay, I think they've taken the concept of a rail trail way too literally. I'll give them points for novelty though, but it will wear off as soon as I'm out of the downtown of Cincinnati.
Always a good sign early into a trail.
A statue to Cincinnatus, the Roman emperor who ceded power back to the people after he came in, did his job, and left, basically. I go all this effort to go around to come back here just for the place I come back to tell me go that way. The neighborhood on the waterfront's gotten a lot nicer, so I guess the money lives on the north side of Cincinnati, or the northeast side, or whatever. Hey, what's that? What is that? Ayo, what's that? I don't actually know what the trail is, because I found the start of the trail and then it was immediately cut off, and ever since then I've been unsure what exactly is the actual bike trail, and I don't want to be on the wrong place or be rude to anybody. Is this the bike trail? Or am I going to be disappointed in 400 feet? Hello? Bro. Ohio River Scenic Byway? No. Nobody was ever hurt by too many signs. Is that what this is communicating? That I'm supposed to have, like, switch over to here? Okay. There's a bike lane. And a sign that says, "Be courteous, share the road." I didn't come here to share the road, bro. I came here for a trail. There's supposed to be a trail here. Where's the trail? Where's this trail I've been looking forward to? Bro, this is a bike lane. This isn't a trail. I'm losing my mind. Come to Cincinnati and check out our bike trail. No, you can't actually ride your bike down it. You gotta walk. Bro, I ain't fucking walking. This has to all be temporary, right? Like, they're waiting for the railroad to shut down, they take over the railroad, they built the proper trail on that. This is all just like to get around the fact that they don't have the railroad yet or something, right? I refuse to accept that this is being called a trail, because it is doing everything that trails don't do. And I know what it is. It's these fuckers, they want to claim they have X number of miles of trail systems, but in all reality, they don't. So they just lie. And here I am, a sucker who was lied to. As soon as this started happening, every building decided awnings were overrated. I swear I passed like a prison. This is just a flat concrete wall. Yeah, go figure. I was thinking maybe I should, like, you know, dip my toes in the river, cool off a bit. I decided against it, but it turns out it really wasn't my choice to make. So the bike lane ended, and I don't think there was any kind of like sign of where the trail goes. I happened to look over here and see this thing. This is the only way you'd know that this is where the trail goes. I feel like everything in Ohio is designed to be confusing. It's probably why everybody's fucking baked out of their minds. So I thought maybe it was sending me west to like loop around some inconvenience. No, that's the eastern trailhead. But I was on the so this is the trail. It just starts randomly. There was a road I was supposed to turn down, and this was the trail I could have been riding on for half a mile. And instead, I think I want to try drugs. No. This is where I started. It's exactly where I started. Okay. I shouldn't need to check the map every 5 minutes to tell if I'm still on a trail. Oh no, the trail runs parallel to that road. Wait, but that's where I was. I was already on that road. I got off that road because the trail ended. It said the bike lane was in. Oh, see, this is the trail. Yeah, no, okay, so don't ride the sidewalk up until now, but now ride the sidewalk. And it's not a sidewalk, it's a trail. I get it. Here we go again. I put the camera away for literally 10 seconds and there's more shit. The trail's narrowing. Guys, it's too narrow. Don't ride your bike down this, it's too narrow. This is way too narrow to safely ride your bike. Wait, hang on. No, it's not. Because the last 350 miles was me with 6 inches of pavement. I mean, I know for a fact they're just saying that for safety purposes. You can't have a run-on collision if everybody's walking their bikes through that section. See, so it's my own fault if I run into somebody because I rode through the narrow part. No, no. Why is it telling me to share the road? Why is there a sign saying share the road? I got kicked off the road. You can't put me back on the road. No. You can't kick me off the road for half a mile and then put me back on the road and tell people to share it with me. Why am I being told to share the road? There's still trail. So what is this? Where are we going now? I gotta sit next to this puddle that people are gonna drive through and splash me. I'm definitely not getting near that until I actually know what the fuck it wants me to do now. I'm losing my mind. All right, well, this half mile looks like it's designed like an actual half mile. Now I'm gonna plug my camera back into the power bank because we're at like 4% battery. So you might be missing out on some insane things that happen while the GoPro charges. So I can record while it's plugged in. That's cool. I just wanted to say, I don't know if I can pick the camera up high enough to show you, but we are riding by a place called Sludge Handling. This is where the trail is, everybody. I swear, every time I go by a place with barbed wire fencing, it starts raining. Every building in America has an awning you can hide under, except the ones where it rains. I've been going down the wrong trail. I'm so confused. How is this a 400-mile trail? This goes to the middle of nowhere. So this is the junction. I went that way. I was supposed to go that way. Interesting. Okay, I remember reading a sign and saying, okay, McGrish Trailhead sounds like the right place to go. Huh. Well, it was on me. It's all on me. This isn't it at all. We gotta go back further. Wait, okay. I might be in the right. This was it. This was the sign. I thought the McGrish Trailhead was the right way. Yeah, it's that sign over there on the left. I didn't think that like Airport Playfield and Playfield Trail sounded like the right direction. I'm looking for like the Little Miami, which is the tiny river we just crossed. But apparently this is the right direction. Oh, and look at that, Little Miami. Mile marker 60. I don't get it, okay. The Ohio River Trail, oh, the mile markers were wrong. Because we went down at 7 miles and it said that we were at mile marker like 28 and it was counting up. It was still counting up when we went the wrong way. But I started at the very, very beginning of that trail
and it was not 28 miles, it was 7 miles. So is this actually going to be a 60-mile long trail we follow? Or is it like a 10-mile trail we might go down, and then 60 miles is just inside some random neighborhood that's in the middle of nowhere? Whatever the case, I need food. Stop. Walk, bike, downhill. Oh, this is left turn. It's not that bad. Looks a little bumpy, but that's about it. Is it just me, or I don't think this map really helps all that much? There's a plane coming in for landing. Where was the first one of these bridges built? Because I see they're everywhere now. I've seen them literally everywhere. This part, okay, it got way less confusing. There was like one more town where I just accidentally ended up off trail, but for a while it's been pretty straightforward. An uneven pavement, oh no, okay, that's very uneven. Yeah, the asphalt's being torn up by like root systems. Which is why the Katy Trail is graded with gravel and not asphalt. I'm in the downtown of Anywheresville, Ohio. I can always tell when a place wants to separate me from my money. Yeah, there's all kinds of like bougie restaurants. I don't think I've seen a chain in 40 miles or something. Not that I like need fast food to live. Actually, I plan on not eating until I find a place to stay. It's just everywhere there just seemed oriented towards separating me from my money. More so than most businesses. So I'm getting off the trail, it's on that side of the river, to find a place to stay and cross the bridge. There's no signage. There's a trail here that doesn't exist on the maps. I'm very curious where this goes and if it'll be useful. The only thing you can see on the map is that it's covered with trees, so I don't think it connects. There's only a few places it could connect to a neighborhood, but if it does, it bypasses a really annoying hill and climb. So I climbed up the hill. There's a bike lane up here, or bike way, and there's a big bike trail down there. But we just haven't connected these two, and so there's just a 150-foot climb on the shoulder of a road. I can't pretend to get it. This little community here has these crosswalks, pedestrian crosswalks. They're not attached to the sidewalks. What am I looking at? Good morning. After a non-trivial amount of effort to get from the town back to this trail, we're back on the trail. I'm gonna try to crush some miles today. I mean, really pound some out. I was thinking like, it would suck to reduce the number of days that you do, but at the same time, because right now the projection is we've got 15 more days of average mileage 50 to get this done. So if I started crushing out 60-mile days, you know, that would reduce it. So in my eyes, I should go as fast as I can while still able to enjoy the trail. So I'm not going to go like Lance Armstrong fast, but I'm definitely not going to go like, I'm definitely going to do more than a mere 50 miles. In theory. I don't know. We'll see where we're at in 50 miles. Things might change. There might be setbacks. But yeah, my tree tunnel continues. We are 90-ish miles from Columbus, Ohio, which is the next big town. Honestly, I don't know when we left the last big town. Ohio is very populated. Thanks. This is a cute little town. There's cyclists everywhere, but I'm still the only like touring cyclist or bike packer that I've seen. I guess this route's just not popular with the cross-country people. I don't know why. If it really is like hundreds of miles of paved asphalt to get across to Ohio, I would think that this would be like a very invaluable resource. In the short time I was on the Katy Trail, I met multiple people who were going east. They were all going to DC, but nobody stuck together. Nobody really gelled, you know. One guy wants to get up at 6:30 every morning and pound hours up before it gets hot. And then another couple, they want to do like tourism everywhere they can. Me, you know, I want to get up later and I don't want to do tourism, so I didn't hang out with them. But it would be interesting to know where all those guys are at now. That said, it's very cool that there's so many people now taking advantage of this infrastructure, even if it's just for day trips or what have you. Oh, hey, look. It's raining again. So when I started back out on the trip, it was like kind of the middle to tail end of like a nationwide heat wave. And now there's like a nationwide flooding incident. Many regions are experiencing flash flooding at the moment. So right now, I mean, I can't stop for the weeks it'll take for this to end. So right now, it's basically just a matter of, can I, how do I get through it, you know? At this point, I just have to assume that getting rained on is going to be a daily occurrence from here on out. I don't even know what road this is, but it's not as tall as the ones in West Virginia, but damn, it still gets me every time. These, just to keep the grade on these interstates, I assume it's an interstate, they built these massive bridges. I mean, it's just out here in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's not really the middle of nowhere, but like, still. It's an insane piece of engineering to kind of just casually be out here. This is just making me want to go to West Virginia more. I guess people are just free-ranging chickens on the road. What I assume is another small town, Corwin. I hope there's a place to stop and get some fuel. I did not have a particularly large breakfast this day. I'm trying to eat a little better, which means smaller meals and smaller but more frequent meals compared to what I've been doing, which is like big, infrequent meals. But let's see what we've been given to work with. We have a little hitchhiker here. He was crawling on my back. Let's stop. Make sure he's a little more comfortable. Uh-oh. We're swapping trails. I mean, oh, no, we're out of the state park. I think we're still on this trail until we get to Xenia in 3 miles. Man, I sure hope nothing bad happens. It's just these ominous clouds, you know. They just make me think that, like, it's building up to do something. Also, this is a climb. We left the little Miami River in Xenia, so now we're climbing. Well, apart from the rain, this is a pretty welcome switch up in scenery.
I think we did like 70 miles of tree tunnels. Now we're getting not necessarily open, but you know, it's cool. The telephone poles give it a weird and unique effect. And I encounter cyclists every now and then. There was actually an inn a mile back. It was all advertised to be, you know, big place for cyclists to stop and what have you. I was like, well, I've only done 47 miles. I've got the strength and the energy. I'm gonna keep going. I'm sure in 10 miles I'll regret it. But, you know, can't listen to that. I was talking to a guy who wants to do some bike packing. He doesn't know where he wants to go, he just wants to go south. Wants to see how far he can go, which, I mean, kudos, man. South of here is like straight down the middle of Kentucky and Tennessee. Can't really picture that being too much fun. Okay, so this is interesting and something that I wonder why we don't see more of, which is the trail here is next to the railroad. I can guess the reason we don't see this more often is I'm sure it's loud as hell. The train's going by. The trail has joined into this nice little city park. We're off trail, but we're in Columbus. I was just thinking of the name. I was just thinking about how much easier it is to get around here than it is in Cincinnati. 89 miles sitting on the outskirts of Columbus. I did 70 yesterday, I did 90 today. That's 3 days of miles in 2. I don't think I can keep up that pace and make it long term. But I better eat something, preload for tomorrow.
Having survived the Heartland and some of Ohio, we still have much of the OTET left to do. We've reached the foothills of Appalachia, or, well, the outskirts of Columbus, Ohio. It was at this point that my goal was in sight, Pittsburgh. From there, I'd have easy access to Washington, D.C., a finale for my trip. So the better question is this going to be 8 episodes or 7? Thanks for watching. The charity drive continues, so as always, donations are appreciated, as are algorithm juice, such as likes, comments, and shares.